Over the last 4 weeks, I've helped more than 50 people remove collections, late payments, hard inquiries, personal information, and derogatory marks off of their credit report. This is the ultimate guide to credit repair in 2024, and I believe it's the best one that you will ever find on YouTube. Hi, my name is Steven Smith. If you haven't seen any of my videos before, this is going to be great. I'm going to compile all of my videos on credit repair into one 2 hour long video. So now you'll have everything: how to remove hard inquiries, how to remove charge offs, how to remove late payments, personal information that needs to be deleted from your report, everything. I've also done something really, really amazing for you guys. You've had a lot of questions and I've been trying to answer them all in the comments. But what I've done, it's taken me a long time, but I've compiled an ebook that you can get now. It's called the Ultimate Credit Repair Guide 2024. I'm going to put a link to the website right here. And then I'm also going to put a link in the description at the bottom so you can look at that. It should be next to the timestamps. So I just want to give a moment to not congratulate anybody else but you. I can't do this for you. I just give you information and you do it for yourself. So to all the people who have had successes and wins and have seen their credit score jump up 40, 50, even 100 points, I've seen the screenshots, I've gotten your DMs, I've seen the emails. I'm proud of you. You guys have done it. I didn't do it for you. I can't do it. Only you can do it. So continue to have that success. But going forward, I do have this ultimate guide ebook. And if you want to learn how to continue to build credit, because it's not enough to just delete everything that's derogatory, we also have to build positive account history for our credit reports in order to get to those 750s and 800 credit scores that we're looking for. So you're going to learn how to remove repos, bankruptcies. There's about 13 or more template letters in there for all the situations that we discussed. So if you want a little bit extra help, if you want a little bit extra information, again, it's going to be all in that guide. So anything that you probably think you have a question about, it's going to be in the guide. So check that out. Also, watch this video all the way through. If you haven't done it, let's delete those late payments. Let's delete those collections. Let's work on those charge offs. Let's delete that old information that doesn't belong on our report. We want to get all of that straight. And then once all of that is done, if you have any more questions, take a look at that ultimate guide that I'm talking about. That's going to be the best resource that you have. I took a long time making that for you guys to answer all of your questions. If you'd have any other wins or successes, please put them in the comments. Keep DMing me. Keep emailing. I'm so happy for your success, and I'm happy to see how you guys have progressed thus far. I won't take up any more of your time. Timestamps are going to be below. Just make sure you check those out and that you're looking at the appropriate timestamps for whatever your issue is. I don't want you to watch the whole thing if you already did one thing and you don't need to do anything else. If you're new, watch those timestamps. It's going to start at the beginning of the video. So if you want to remove a collection and it starts at 20 minutes, start there. If you want to do hard inquiries and it's starting at 40 minutes, start there. Again, thank you so much. I've grown so quickly. This channel is just moving so fast. I'm very appreciative. I'm proud of you guys. Without anything else to say, you have a great day. So I have everything pulled up on my computer here. We're going to start on identitytheft.gov. So you can type this in the Google. It should come up, and then you can go on Get Started. That's where we're going to begin. All right. So the first option you're going to choose is I want to report identity theft. Once you do that, we're going to click on credit card accounts, and then we're going to hit continue at the bottom. All right, so we're going to choose the option to open a fraudulent credit card account, and then we're going to hit continue on this next screen. So this first part, you can pretty much bypass that. We're really not going to be getting into any details here, so you can just hit continue. This is the part where you want to start filling out your information. So right here, first name, last name, and then you're going to want to fill out your information here. You want to enter your primary phone number. You want to enter your email address. You're going to enter your date of birth, and then you're going to enter your current mailing address. So I'm going to leave this part blank. Whenever I try to fill in the information for my screen, it's going to actually populate the information. Don't want that to be seen. So I'm going to hit continue, and then we'll be on the next 3. It should say suspect information. You can just click no at this time and continue. So have you received a copy of your credit report? You can put yes. Here, this is where we're going to actually enter the company information. So let's say, for example, you had Bank of America, and there was an inquiry on January 1st, 2023. We would add the name of the company here, the date of the inquiry here, add company. And then say you had one with Chase Bank, and you did that one, let's say, the very next day, January the 2nd, 2023, the name of the company, the day of the inquiry. We're going to add company here. In this section, it allows you to put up to 4 companies, I believe. If you have more, that's okay. I'm going to show you how to add more. But you'll go here, so on and so forth, add what you need, and then have you requested a fraud alert? No. Have you contacted? No. Was your personal? No. No. You can leave all that no. It's already going to be there by default. Then hit continue on the next screen. All right, so right here in this section, it's going to ask you to include all the other inquiries. So let's say that you had more and you wanted to add Wells Fargo. And for Wells Fargo, you had an inquiry on February 23rd, 2023. We're going to add that. And then let's say you had one with Navy Federal as well. We're going to go ahead and we're going to add the Navy Federal inquiry. And then we could do that one for March the 1st, 2023, whatever the date is. So once you get all of the inquiries put here, sometimes I've seen where people can have up to 20. You add all that information, and then you can hit continue. All right, now this is the final page. It's going to be number 6 where you review the complaint. So this is where we're going to be able to download the affidavit. It should have your name, last name, email address, your phone number, company's name, the date. You want to click the very bottom to acknowledge, and then you want to finalize. Now, you can do this without creating an account. That's up to you. I recommend that you do. Once you do this and you do make the account, you're going to get the affidavit. I'm just going to put no, and then I'm going to submit without an account. And then once you're done, it'll provide you with the affidavit. You can download the report here. Once the report is downloaded, you can go ahead and copy that or download that into a file, save it, because we're going to need that for the next step. All right. All right. So we're back on Google. We're going to click on Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. That's going to be the CFPB. All right. Once we go here, we're going to choose the option at the very top right-hand corner, submit a complaint. At the bottom, if you scroll down, we can select start a new complaint. And from here, it'll ask you to sign in. Same thing, first name, last name, email address, phone number, create a password, and then you're going to sign up and you're going to verify your email. All right, so once you've completed the sign up, you're going to go to the submit a complaint option, and then it's going to bring up this. What we're looking for is credit reporting or other personal consumer reports. We're going to click on that, and then we're going to click on credit reporting here for what type of credit reporting product, and then we're going to go to next. So we're going to go down to improper use of your report, and then we're going to click on credit inquiries on your report that you don't recognize. And have you already tried to fix this with the company? Yes. Did you request information from the company? Yes. Did the company provide you this information? Yes. And then we're going to hit next. All right. So right here, all the inquiries that we had from the CFPB, we're going to type them here. So the Bank of America example that we had with the date that we had, Chase Bank with the date that we had. All right, and then so on and so forth. You're going to add all of them. The next section, you're going to put delete hard inquiries. And in the final section, this is the most important. This is where we're going to select and upload the affidavit that we got. All right, so add that here, and then we're going to hit next. And then for the company name, this is where we're going to get all of our companies. We're going to type in all the credit bureaus, Experian. I usually just use the first one here, the one in all caps. We need the information here, and this is a secure website, so don't worry about your information being compromised. You can put all that here. You want to make sure you put your name as it does appear on your credit report. And then do you want to complain about another company? And we would do the same thing here, add TransUnion. And then same thing, so on and so forth. And then we're going to also add Equifax. All right, so who are you adding all the information for? You can choose myself. I'm going to click the button, but I'm going to go to the next page. So once you go to the review option, it's going to give you one more time to review the complaint. Make sure that all the information there, options, I authorize and direct, and then the information given is true to the best of my knowledge. You hit submit the complaint. On this last page, you do not want to go back. You don't want to refresh, do anything until it's completed. Sometimes it does take a few minutes. It is slow. Let that thing process. It'll complete. You'll get an email once it's done. Once that is done, I would say within 24 hours or so, you should start to notice that the hard inquiries are coming off. You'll also get a notice from the credit bureaus and the CFPB that the information has been taken in. For me personally, I've done this before, and it's removed all the hard inquiries within that time frame. Follow this step by step. Make sure not to add any hard inquiries of accounts that you actually want to keep. That is definitely one thing to keep in mind. Just go through this step by step. Again, within 24 hours, you should see that removed from your credit report. If it's not removed within 24 hours, potentially it can take up to a week. I have seen that where it does take up to a week for some people. Again, for myself personally, and when I've done it for other people, it's been 24 hours. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is go to Experian.com. So it's going to be usa.experian.com. The reason why I like to use Experian is because they include all three credit bureaus. You get Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. With a lot of them, you won't get access to all three. If you have an alternative that you use to pull up your credit report, that's fine. You just want a report that will show every negative item that you have for all three credit bureaus. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is log into Experian or create an account if we don't have one. To protect this individual's information, I logged into the account. As soon as you log in, you're going to click on View Report. You're going to scroll down to the bottom. That's where you should see your collections or negative items. Now, you only need a few things from the report. First thing, you want to make sure that you're on Experian, TransUnion, or Equifax, right? We're going to want to notate which bureau that collection is with. They might not report to all three. So for this report, this one is with Experian. So the collection accounts here that we have are Midland Credit Management and National Credit Adjust. You're going to copy Midland Credit Management. My recommendation is that you either write this down, you screenshot it, you put it in a Google Keep Note, but you want to write down Experian, Midland Credit Management. You want to make sure that you get the balance, highest balance, whatever is the highest balance. So for this one, it's only showing one. Balance and original balance are both the same. For you, it may be different. If it is, make sure you get the highest one. You need the name, the balance. You also need the account number, and you need the date opened. All right. So make sure, go to Experian, go to TransUnion, go to Equifax. They may have different names as well, but maybe the same account. You want to make sure that you go Midland Credit Management, copy the name, copy the balance, copy the account number, copy the date opened. And if you have more, we'll just go to the next one. You'll grab the name, National Credit Adjust. You'll grab the balance here, $525. You'll grab the account number here. You'll grab the date opened. And that's all that we need. So take your time now, collect that information, Experian, TransUnion, Equifax, get each of the names, account numbers, the highest balance, the open dates, all right? And then you'll follow me on to that very next step. Before we move on to the next step, I wanted to pull this up. It's the Cornell Law School 15 U.S. Code 1681 Congressional Findings and Statement of Purpose. I just wanted to make sure that you know your rights. You are, you have the right to an accurate and fair credit report. All right. So the banking system is dependent upon fair and accurate credit reporting. And accurate credit reports directly impair the efficiency of the banking system, and unfair credit reporting methods undermine the public confidence, which is essential to the continued functioning of the banking system. So just bear in mind that when you have a third party that says that you owe them something, but you do not have a contract with them, you can ask them to verify that report. And if they can't verify that report, we look at that as fraudulent activity. All right. So we're going to move on to the next screen. We're going to be going to identitytheft.gov. Once you get there, we're going to click on Get Started. Then we're going to click on I want to report identity theft. There are some other options here. Someone has my information or tried to use it. I'm worried about identity theft. If you are worried that's going to happen, my information was exposed or breached or something else. So we're going to choose I want to report identity theft. Couple of options here. The one we're going to pick is credit card accounts. But if you had like a loan, there's an option for loans. There's an option for someone opened a debit card, a checking account, savings account in your name, employment or tax fraud. Someone opened a telephone or maybe cable, power in your name, any benefits here or other types of accounts you can also put here. But what we're going to be looking at is credit card accounts. And tell us how your information was misused to open a fraudulent credit card account. And we're going to click continue. All right, we're going to click continue here. All right, and where it says what company or bank issued the credit card, that's where we're going to go back and we're going to copy our account. So remember, you want to make sure that you do the corresponding bureau that we're trying to dispute with. So for this one, I'm just going to give the example of Experian. Hopefully you have written down all of those other ones. Write them all down for Experian. Write them all down for TransUnion. Write them all down for Equifax. So we're going to copy that name and we're going to put it in here. Now it is January of 2024. Whatever month and whatever year that you are currently in watching this video, you want to put that month and that year. So we're going to put January 2024. If you tell us when you know when the account was open, so we can just go back to the report and then we're going to go to the day it was open. So that was May 24th, 2022. So we're going to get May 2022. And if you know the amount, which we do, we're going to go back here. That amount was $1,104, $1,104. And then we're going to enter the account number as well. So the account number right here, we're just going to copy that. Or if you have it in your notes, just get it from there and enter that information. You don't have to worry about this part. We can skip that, but you want to add the additional account here. So we have our first one here. We're adding our second one here. You can do up to 5 accounts per report. Now, if you have more than 5 with Experian, do 5 on one, do the other 5 on the other, or however many you have left on the other. You're going to do this separately for TransUnion and separately for Equifax. All right. So our second collection that we had was National Credit Adjust. Again, we're just going to simply copy that information, go right here, paste it right in. When did you first notice that problem? Whatever month and whatever year that you are currently in at this time. All right. And tell us when the account was opened. We're going to go back to that. Date open, July 2018. So we're going to put the July 2018. All right, good. And the amount, it's going to be $525. Or again, you want to put the highest balance. Whatever the highest balance is, that's what you want to put. All right, and then we're going to copy this account number. And we're going to paste that in. And just that fast, we're done. Both accounts here. Again, you can do up to 5. If you have more than 5, then you want to do it on another report. And you're going to do a separate report for Experian, a separate report for TransUnion, and a separate report for Equifax. All right, so it's going to ask you for your first name. I'll just use my information here. And your primary phone number. This is not my actual phone number. It's just a Google Voice number that I'm going to use for the demonstration, but you'll want to use your actual phone number, okay? And then your email address. All right, so who's filing this complaint? Myself. And then you want to enter your date of birth. And then here you want to enter your address information. And this is not my actual address. If you go there, I will not be there. And then you could just put however long you live at the address. I'll just put 2010 and January. All right. And your name has not changed. If it has not changed, if you're military service, then you can put yes or no, and then we'll continue on to the next step. All right. Do you know anything about the person who stole your identity? No. All right. So on the 4th page, have you reviewed a copy of your credit report? Yes. Were there any fraudulent accounts included on your credit report? Yes. Was any personal information wrong on your credit report? So you can take this opportunity to get rid of any old addresses or any irrelevant information that you don't want on there. So you can add that. If your name is wrong or you just want one name, make sure that you specify that. I'll just leave that blank for now. I did an entire video on inquiries, so I'm not going to worry about this here. If you want, again, I'm going to link that video and you can watch the video on the inquiries. Have you requested a fraud alert from one of the 3 national credit bureaus? No, not yet. This isn't a big deal. If you get a fraud alert, you can just contact the credit bureaus and remove it. It's not a bad thing. It just has to do extra verification in order to make sure that you are who you say you are. And you can easily call any of the 3 bureaus. They'll remove it immediately. So that's no big deal. Me personally, I didn't even get an alert on there. So I wouldn't worry about that. Have you contacted your local police department? No. Was your personal information exposed in a data breach? No. Has a debt collector contacted you about an account that isn't yours? No. So we're going to hit continue and we're going to move on to the next step. Okay, so next page, step 5 is personal statement. So they want you to submit a personal statement. Here, I just gave an example. You could either copy this verbatim or you can kind of make your own. But I recently reviewed a copy of my credit report and noticed I had fraudulent accounts on my report. Please remove these accounts from my report. They are hurting my ability to obtain credit. So very short, sweet, right to the point. Just let them know that these accounts, you don't recognize them. You didn't authorize them. They're being reported by a third party, and you just want to just give just a couple little details there, and you're all done. So we're going to hit continue here. All right. So on the page 6, final page, we're going to see a little preview of our complaint here. And you're going to check the box, I understand, and you're going to finalize. And you can hit no thanks, just submit without an account, and continue. All right, so you're going to get a report here. You can download the report. Once you have it, there's going to be an option where your printer comes up, but you can go here and then you can just choose the option to save as a PDF. It's going to be different for everybody's computer, but PDF, save, and we could save that to the desktop. All right. And again, we're going to do this for up to 5 per bureau. If you have more than 5, do more than 1. And then we're going to do a separate report for each credit bureau. So if you need to go through, do this process again, do the process for TransUnion, do the process for Equifax, and then we're going to take all 3 of our reports once you're done, and then we're going to go to the next step. All right, so you can go to Google and type in CFPB or go to consumerfinance.gov. So we're on the CFPB website. Just to give you some backstory, CFPB, they were created to basically protect you against banks, lenders, other financial institutions, to make sure that you're being treated fairly. So if you have some type of discrepancy with the credit bureaus, with your bank, with any financial institution, this is who you want to contact. This is who they have to answer to, right? So when you send letters, right, and you want to go through a couple rounds of that, and then this would be like the final step. We're going to circumvent that, and we're not going to wait 30 to 45 days. We're going to go straight to them with our information, and we're going to submit that complaint. So you can go to the very top, submit a complaint. You're going to scroll down and start a new complaint. Now, one thing about this website, if you start a complaint, do not refresh the screen. If you refresh that screen, the complaint won't go through. Okay, it's happened to me. It's happened to a lot of people that I know. The complaint will not go through. So if you have to go back, do anything of that nature, just restart the complaint. All right. So go to start a new complaint. You're going to create an account. Make sure it's an email that you do have access to and that you're going to be using, because you do want to get the responses from them. All right. So start that new complaint, set up that account, and then I'll see you on the next step. All right. So once your account is set up and you're ready to submit a complaint, we have 5 steps to take care of here. The option that we're looking for is credit reporting and other personal consumer reports. There are some other options here that you can go through if you'd like to kind of go through that, check them out at a later date. Then by all means, I would recommend it. What type of credit reporting product? Credit reporting, and then we're going to click on next. All right, and then we're going to go to incorrect information on our credit report. Information belongs to someone else, or identity theft. And have you already tried to fix this problem with the company? You always want to say yes, because if not, they'll try to defer you back to the company. Did you request information from the company? Yes. Did the company provide this information? No. All right. I would hit next here. And then what happened? You can pretty much copy and paste the exact same statement that you had previously. So I recently reviewed a copy of my credit report, noticed I have fraudulent activity, and then what would be a fair resolution? Please remove all fraudulent accounts. Thank you. All right, so here where it says attach a document, we want to select those reports that we got. We're going to add that here. Now, again, we're only doing 1 bureau at a time, or 5 at a time per bureau. So this is for Experian. We're going to do 1 report for Experian. You need to include your driver's license, a picture of that, a picture of your social security card, a picture of a utility bill that shows your address, right? And you just want to make sure you have all this information because sometimes they try to stall you out by saying that you weren't the one who submitted this. So the identity theft report, utility bill, social security card, driver's license. Those 4 things we want to add to this report so they can verify that this is actually you. All right. So the company name that we're looking at right now is Experian. You can type it in, name's going to pop up. You can just pick the first one at the very top. Then you're going to add all the information here, last 4 of the social, date of birth, name as it appears on your credit report. Make sure to put the name as it appears on the report, exactly the same. So last 4 of the social here, we're going to enter our birth date here, and the name as it appears on our credit report. All right, do you want to complain about another company? No, because this one will be both of the, or in this case, both, but all of the collection accounts for Experian. We're going to put them all here. Again, if you have 5, it's only going to be 5. You have to do another one and then submit another report to the CFPB. So we're going to go next. At the very bottom, it's going to ask you to review. Since I'm actually signing into my account, I had to cut off some of the information there. But after you review the complaint, you're just going to scroll down to the very bottom. You're going to submit the complaint. You should get an email with the complaint details. And that is it. You'll want to repeat this process for TransUnion, repeat the process for Equifax. And, if you only have a collection account for one bureau, then just do one bureau. You could replay the video, make sure that you got all the steps down, and that'll take care of everything. Right. So the first thing we're going to do to get started, we're going to go to either Experian.com, or you can also use Identity IQ. My preference is Experian. With Experian, you can get all 3 credit bureau reports, and you can get it for TransUnion, Equifax as well. I use them a majority of the time. Identity IQ is also very good. If you don't have either account, I recommend maybe Identity IQ to start. You can start a free trial with them for as low as $1 if you don't have an account right now. If not, you can just use whichever one you prefer. But I recommend that you use one of these 2. So if you don't have an account with either one of these 2, first thing we want to do is create an account, and then we want to log in. So I'm going to give you a second to log into either Experian, Identity IQ. If you don't have an account, create one, and then I'll see you at the next step. All right, so once we're logged into Experian or Identity IQ, we're going to scroll down and we're going to find the account that's late. For this example, I'm going to be using this Credit One bank account. So we see we have a late payment here. We're going to click on that account. All right, so for this account, there's a late payment in September, and there is a late payment in October. No data for November, and no data for December. Now, I'm using this account as an example, and we're only looking at the Experian part of the credit reports right now. Let's say that this same account with Credit One was to have 30 days past due in September and 60 days in October. But then we looked at our TransUnion report, and September was paid on time, but it was 30 days late in October. That would be an inaccuracy. And then we would also look at the same thing with Equifax. So with this account, I believe that at the time, because I can't pull up the other report for TransUnion or Equifax right now, but in this example, September's 30 days late, you're 60 days late in October. The other one for TransUnion or Equifax, they had the opposite, like paid on time, but 30 days late in October. That is an inaccuracy, and that's an inaccuracy that we can actually use. So what I would normally do is take this, and then I would screenshot it. If you're on a MacBook, it's Shift-Command-3. Screenshot that, and I would probably screenshot the top 2 so you can get the account information here. So Shift, Command, and 3. That way we have the credit one name here. We have the account number. We have this showing as 30 days late and 60 days late, right? And then we're going to screenshot this. We would then upload this to the CFPB, and then we're going to use this screenshot in our dispute. So again, right now, this is the only account that I have as an example. But what you'll want to do is just make sure that you find the account that's late. You want to make sure to get the account number. So make sure that you have that account number copied, because we're going to need this account number when we go and file the dispute with the CFPB, right? And then we want to make sure to have the screenshot of this payment date for September and October. And we want to make sure that we're reporting 2 late payments. So once you gather all your information, you're going to copy the account number. You're going to get a screenshot of that account that is late from the payment history legend. All right. We're going to go over to the CFPB, and then we're going to file this complaint. Now, before we go ahead and file that complaint with the CFPB, I always like to pull up the Cornell Law School compliance procedure. So that's 15 U.S. Code 1681E. And the part that we're always looking at is the B section, accuracy of report. So whenever a consumer reporting agency prepares a consumer report, it shall follow reasonable procedures to assure maximum possible accuracy of the information concerning the individual about whom the report relates. So this is actually what we're going to use in our dispute, right? We're going to be using the accuracy of a report. We're going to go ahead and let them know that that account was not late, and it's up to them. The burden of proof is on the consumer reporting agency. You have to understand, the credit bureaus are not government entities, right? They're just data furnishers, right? You need to make sure that they're reporting accurate information on your credit report, right? And the burden of proof is always on them to prove that something is not inaccurate. It's not on you, okay? We're just trying to make sure that our report is 100% accurate. It's up to them to gather information to determine if that's not true. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to take what we have here, the 15 U.S. Code 1681E compliance procedure, section B, and I'm going to show you how we're going to use this in order to file our dispute with the CFPB on the next step. All right, so now we're on the CFPB. That's the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And I want to read this too. So we're the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, a U.S. government agency dedicated to making sure you are treated fairly by banks, lenders, and other financial institutions. So again, the credit bureaus are just data furnishers. The CFPB is an actual government entity, right? So this is the this is the only real bureau, right? The other ones are just companies that furnish information. This is the only government agency, right? So this is who they have to answer to in case we have any complaints. So we'll start by submit a complaint, and then we're going to scroll down. Start a new complaint. If you have an account, you're going to go ahead and already submitted a complaint or created your account. We'll click on that. You'll sign in at the next step. If you don't have an account, just take the time, fill out this first name, last name, email, phone number, and you're going to create a password. You'll sign up and you'll verify your email. And once you've done that, or you've logged in, then we'll proceed to the next step. All right. So once you're logged in, we're going to go to start a new complaint. All right, the option that we're looking for is credit reporting and other personal consumer reports. So we're going to click on that. And what type of credit reporting product? We're going to go to credit reporting. All right, and then we're going to go to improper use of your report. So share without consent, credit inquiries from unknown sources. Right. And then Reporting company used your report improperly. And then have you already tried to fix this problem with the company? You want to always click yes. Did you request information from the company? You want to click yes. What information did you request? In this case, we can say statement proving I was late on this account. And did the company provide this information? Just always select no, they did not provide this information. All right, so we're going to fill out all this information. Again, improper use of your report. Reporting company used your report improperly. Did you already try to fix the problem? Yes. Did you request the information from the company? Yes. The information statement proving I was late on this account. And did the company provide this information? No. So fill all that out, and then I'll see you on the next step. All right, so on the next step, I've already typed out exactly what we're going to want to say. You can modify this slightly. I always recommend just maybe changing it up just a little bit. Or if you want to take it verbatim, then you can. So I recently reviewed my credit report and noticed an account that was not reporting accurately. I had 2 late payments, or 1, depending on what you're doing. I had 2 late payments on an account that was in fact paid on time. The consumer reporting agencies need to report all information with complete accuracy. Let me just fix that. This account has not been late on payments. I've attached a copy of my report to this complaint on the following dates. You want to make sure to insert the dates here, and you want to use the 2-digit date. So if it's February 2024, you want to do 02//24. I'm now requesting you investigate and provide verifiable proof with records showing that I had late payments. If this information cannot be verified, I demand these payments be updated to paid on time immediately. Thank you for your understanding and prompt action. So anything along these lines is fine. You can modify it slightly, change a little bit of the words. If not, use the same one. Just be mindful, if you do copy this directly, make sure you update it to the payments that you have. Now, I recommend that you don't do this for more than 2 late payments. If it's 1 or 2, then that's good. If it's 2 or more, you might want to attack this differently. You might want to do like in sets, like 1 late payment, let it get updated, and then do, if it's 2 more, then do the other 2. But I wouldn't try to do it all at one time. I would try to do just maybe no more than 2 at a time. So what would be a fair resolution to this issue? Update the account to paid on time and never late. Very, very simple, straight to the point. And you attach your documents. So you see the screenshots that we took. I've attached them here, and then they'll be forwarding them to the company. So take a look. If you need to copy that, and then this here too. All right, and then we're going to be moving on to the next step. All right, so on the next step, we're going to type out all the companies that we're disputing with. So we're going to start with Experian. And you could pretty much pick any one of these. Experian at the top, Experian Credit Reporting Agency, Experian Credit Reporting, Experian Credit Bureau. So let's just do Experian Credit Reporting Agency. And then you're going to enter your social security number, your name as it appears on the credit report, and your date of birth. So whatever your social is, you can enter that. You can enter your date of birth. Now, this is important. However your name is shown on the Experian credit report, you want to enter that. So if your name was Steven and it's showing Stephen, last name Smith, you want to enter it like that. If your middle name was James, Stephen James Smith, you want to enter it just like that. If they had your name with capital PHEN, however it's shown on your credit report, that's the exact way you want to make sure to enter it. Okay. So just make sure to enter that exactly how it's shown on that report. So however they did it, enter it like that. Do you want to complain about another company? Yes. Let's add TransUnion now. So for TransUnion, same thing. I'll use TransUnion with the capital, TransUnion Intermediate Holdings Inc. With or TransUnion Credit Reporting Agency. So whichever one you want to enter. Have you already tried to fix this problem with the company? So we want to enter the exact same information. Yes. Did you request information from that company? Yes. What information did you request? And say the same thing. A statement proving I was late on this account. All right. Did the company provide this information? No. So we want to enter all the same things, right? And then we're going to enter the same exact information, social security number, date of birth, same thing. And then again, however your name appears on TransUnion, you want to enter it like that. You may have multiple names. If you do have multiple names, you should refer back to my video about removing personal information. I'm going to link that video right around here so you can watch that. Okay. So however it appears, let's say on this one, it has the first name, middle name, and the last name. However it appears, we're going to enter it that exact same way. All right. And then do you want to complain about another account? Yes, we do. We want to complain about Equifax. And then same thing, Equifax Credit Bureau, Equifax. So Equifax Credit Bureau. Have you already tried to fix this problem with the company? Yes, we did. Did you request information from the company? Yes, we did. What information? A statement proving I was late on this account. Same information. Did the company provide this information? No. All right. And then same thing, social security number, name as it appears, and date of birth. So you want to run through and just enter all this information for all three credit bureaus. Once you're done, then I'll see you on that next step. All right. So this is the last step, step 5. It's going to ask, who are you submitting this complaint for? I'm going to click on myself, but after I click on myself, I'm going to cut to the end because my personal information does come up. But when you're submitting this, click on myself, okay? And then we're going to look at the review and then we're going to get to the very end. So after I clicked myself, all I did was simply scroll down to the very bottom and then you're going to click on review. All right, so it's going to have you review the complaint. You're going to scroll down and you're going to see all the same information. Again, it shows some personal information. So I'm just going to scroll down to the very bottom. All right, so you're at the very bottom. You just want to authorize and direct the consumer reporting agency identified in my complaint to share determinations and actions taken by the company for the purpose of responding to my complaint. Cool. The information given is true to the best of my knowledge and belief. We want to check these and then you want to submit the complaint. So that is all the steps that I have for you today in getting late payments removed from your credit report. We're pretty much all done. Review the information, make sure that you have everything completed. If you don't receive an email within like 2 or 3 minutes showing that the complaint is completed, you do want to make sure that you go back and submit the complaint again. If you sometimes go back or refresh the page, the complaint does not get submitted. So you want to make sure, use an email that you're actually going to have access to. You want to make sure that you get an email confirming that the complaint was submitted. And then you can go back into your account and you can see that the complaint was submitted. All right. So all I can recommend is that you guys, if you've done this to get the late payments, I suggest going to watch my video about personal information, checking out the videos about removing hard inquiries, and also about removing the collections. This was a video that was requested in the comments. So thank you. If you guys have any more ideas for videos that you want to see, please leave it in the comment at the bottom so that I can make those videos for you too. Whatever you think that you have questions about, please let me know. I'll do my best to make a video for that. I appreciate all the love that I've been getting. We're almost at 100 subscribers, and I think it's been like less than a week. So I appreciate you guys so much. We're growing fast. You guys have a wonderful day. All right, so the first account we're going to be looking at is with Experian.com. So we're going to go to usa.experian.com. If you currently do not have an account, you can create an account for free. I have another video that talks about how to get your free credit score. I will link that somewhere here. You can watch that video and then go over that and create that free account. So I'm going to get started by logging in here. So once you're completely logged in, you'll want to scroll down to the bottom and then you'll want to click on Help Center. Once you click on Help Center, you'll have the quick action section. Here you can go to File a Dispute, and then you're going to click on Start a New Dispute. All right, so now that we're here, we're going to go to Personal Information. You're going to click on this. And then from here, you can request what personal information you'd like to change. Now, I've done some recent disputes here, so I actually don't have any other personal information that I can change. But for example, if I want to click on like my date of birth, I can click on that. I can choose incorrect option, and then I can click next. From there, you can add another item and then submit the dispute. Now, I won't be able to show you this, but for addresses with Experian, sometimes there are some that are linked to an account. And if you have an address that's linked to an account, worst case, you'll need to create a, let's say, get a bill or get maybe like a gas bill, a light bill, your cable bill, your internet bill, and you'll need to show the new address. You'll just need to send that to Experian certified, or there's a link that you can actually click when you're going to change that address, and they can update that to that account. You can also get the account with Experian or get your statement, and you can update the address there and just send it through this same portal to Experian, and that way they'll remove that old address that they're saying is tied in with that account. Other than that, it's very, 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 very simple. You can go ahead and you can request that information here. Just click on the section that you want. Click on the option for address. It's not going to show here because I don't have any addresses to dispute. But if it were here, it would say, you could say, I've never lived there, or identity theft for the address, whatever the case may be. If it's not your address and you don't know it, or it's old or outdated, click on that option, get rid of it. You'll be able to hit next. You'll be able to submit the dispute and add another item. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that's very easy. And then we'll move on to the next credit bureau. Next website we're going to go to is TransUnion. You could either Google TransUnion or you can go to service.transunion.com. And just like Experian, you're going to have to create an account. Again, this is a free account that you can create. So I'm going to get logged in here, and then we'll go to that next step. Okay, now we're logged into the TransUnion portal. If you actually logged in and you receive like a screen that asks you to go to credit monitoring, consumer services, or true identity, you want to go to consumer services first, and then you want to log in through that portal. It didn't come up for me, probably because I logged in recently, but if it came up for you, just make sure to click consumer services. Then we're going to click on the dispute option here. Very, very simple, very easy. So it lets you know you can dispute name, you can dispute the address, you can dispute the phone number. We only want to dispute one of these three things online. Excuse me. Reason being, if you dispute some of this other information, it waives certain rights that you do have when you do it online. So we're not doing that. The only thing we're doing is name, address, or phone number. Now, again, I recently did a request, so it's telling me to check request status. But for you, you're going to click this same button and it's going to give you the option to file the dispute. Just like Experian, once you click on the option, you'll be able to just click address. You'll be able to click the reason why I've never lived here, identity theft, fraudulent, I don't know this address, whatever the option is. You click on that and then you continue with that dispute. You usually will be notified via email, the one that you use to set up this account, within 24 hours that that account is deleted. You usually don't have to upload any documents for TransUnion. Experian seems to be the only one that does that. So no worries here. Just log in, click that option, click this one at the bottom right here. And again, I know that mine's not showing it, but for you, since I already have one processing, you'll be able to click this option and then you'll be able to get that account, or I'm sorry, you'll be able to get that address, that phone number, or maybe wrong name removed from your TransUnion credit report. Again, takes about 24 hours to do so. All right. The last website that we're going to be looking at is, of course, Equifax. You can go to my.equifax.com or you can Google it, just like the other two. If you don't have an account, you just register, you sign up for the account, and then we're going to log in. So I'm going to log in now, and then we'll move on to the next step. All right, once you log in, scroll to the bottom, you'll see the disputes option. From there, you can click start or check a dispute. So we're going to click on that, and then you're going to click on file. Scroll down to the bottom in case you have some old ones there, but file a dispute. So we're going to click that option. I authorize Equifax to notify me via email of the results. We're going to click continue. All right, taking a while for my page to load here, but now we can click on personal information. So once that tab loads, click on personal information here. And still taking a while for mine to load. There we go. So let's say that you have wrong information here. Here's address information. You'll want to click on dispute this. And you can click, again, these options. I've never lived at this address. This address belongs to another person with a similar name. I believe I'm a victim of identity theft. Then you would click continue. Once you click continue, you would just submit that on that next screen. And once you did that, you will get an update on the status of this within the next 24 hours. Again, usually it takes 1 day for this to be removed. Once that happens, then you can go and start the process of disputing any other information that that you want to get removed off of your credit report. Chances are you'll get much better, faster results when you do this before starting the dispute process. Other than that, that'll be it. Very quick video. I hope that this was helpful to you guys. Please like, subscribe. If you know someone who needs this information, please share it with people. Thank you. You have a great day. I want to preface this by saying when it comes to charge-offs, there is no one that can guarantee you a charge-off will be removed in a certain period of time. What I can promise you is that if we do it properly, it is possible that it can be done. All right. So another reason why I took my time with making this video was because I wanted to give you guys a little confirmation bias first. If you followed my previous videos, then you probably have seen your collections come off, your late payments come off, your hard inquiries come off, your personal information is corrected. And the reason why I started with that first is because I knew that was easier to get done. I could show my kids how to do that kind of stuff. It's a very, very easy process um, once you understand how it works and once you know your rights. Now, when it comes to charge offs, they are a little bit more difficult. And the thing is, you can't really tailor one person's credit report to someone else's. And of course, every bank is different. So when I provide you with these steps, you got to understand it's not going to be like you follow each step verbatim, like everything's going to be exactly the same. You have to kind of tailor it to your situation. So everything that I say, just make sure that you take it with a grain of salt, because charge offs and credit reports in this situation, they are not all the same. They're going to be different. So what works for one person may not work for you. Depends on your bank, depends on what's going on, depends on the situation of that charge off. They're not going to all be the same. So again, I just wanted to make sure I preface that in the beginning, because this is going to be a little bit more of a challenge. But I've done it myself, and I've had 8 charge offs. So if you only have 1 or 2 repossession, things like that, trust me, if I can get rid of 8, you can do it too. Getting rid of charge offs, in my opinion, it really just depends on how much the person wants it. So I just want to start off by saying that. So, what is a charge off? A charge off means a company has written off a debt because it does not believe it will receive the money that it's owed. You are responsible for paying debt that is charged off. Paying off or settling the overdue debt does not mean it will be removed from the charge off status on the consumer's credit report. Instead, the status will likely be changed to charge off paid or charge off settled. And that's the reason why we focus on deleting the account. So, you're still responsible for paying charge offs once the account is charged off. All right. There are situations where this might change, and we are going to go through a few scenarios here. All right. There are scenarios where you may have a charged off account that becomes a collection. That's different. That's a situation of double jeopardy, where the account is transferred but isn't updated properly. That's another one of the easiest ways to get a charge off deleted. So today we're going to be talking about a few things. Factual disputes will be the main topic of conversation, but I will give you different scenarios because, again, not everyone's charge offs will be the same. They're all going to be different. It depends on your situation. So there are different types of charge offs. There are high balance charge offs. A high balance charge off can be anything above $1,500. Those, depending on your situation, you may want to avoid disputing them. Sometimes they can be risky. The higher the balance, the more likely you are to be sued. Now, I want to make sure that when I give this information, I'm making sure to address everything as much as I possibly can. That's why I save charge offs for last. You can be sued even if you don't get an account removed from your credit report. Keep that in mind. It's just that you're more likely to be sued when the account is over $1,500. That's a different video. Maybe in the future, I'll talk about what happens, but a lawsuit isn't as big of a deal as you think. You go to court, there's ways to deal with that. There's a lot of ways. But I just want to make sure that I do mention it. Low balance charge offs. That's anything below $1,500. You can usually get these deleted by factual disputes. They're a lot easier, you know. Paid accounts, the account is paid or settled. Either you pay the full balance or you settle for a lower amount. Whatever the case may be, this account is legally validated already. Technically, when you paid it off, you said that it was a legal, valid account. So this is the account where you are going to do factual disputing, but if you're looking at this video and you looked at round 1 and round 2, for a paid account or settle balance, you can just jump to round 3. You don't have to do round 1 and round 2. The account's already validated, so you don't have to worry about that. A transferred account. A transferred account usually has a zero balance and it should indicate sold or transferred, right? You need to check your credit report and you need to see if it's reporting as a zero balance and it indicates sold or transferred. A lot of charge-offs can be deleted because, again, you'll see 2 accounts. One is a collection. The other is being held by the actual creditor, the original creditor. And some of us don't see that because we don't look at the right credit report. Usually in the past videos, I've told you to go to Experian, Identity IQ. But for this one, I'm going to recommend that you stick with annualcreditreport.com. You can get your free reports every week still as of February 1st, 2024. And the reason why you need to go to annualcreditreport.com is because a lot of companies don't actually put the entire report on their website. You want to look online, and I'm going to give you specific examples of why you want to look online on annualcreditreport.com. I'm going to give you a few examples of why you want to make sure that you check that. All right. I am so sorry, guys. I'm not used to using a a slideshow, but this is like all the information I needed to make sure that I remember to address. So again, go to annualcreditreport.com. It has your real credit report with all the payment history and comments needed for factual disputes. So when we're doing factual disputes, we need as much information as possible. Information is ammunition. All right. If we want to make sure to get rid of these accounts, we need as much ammunition as possible. So we need to make sure that we get all the information that's on our reports. And a few of the ones online that we use, like Identity IQ, Credit Karma, even Experian, that's the one I normally use. I would say it's the most accurate, but I could give specific examples of where it's missing information. That's why you want to go to annualcreditreport.com. If you do nothing else, make sure that you get the information from there if you do nothing else. All right. A little bit more information before I get into this. So after a company charges off an account, sometimes they sell that account to a debt buyer, and that's different from a collection agency. So debt buyers usually only buy charged off accounts because it's easier to sue you, since they get information directly from the original creditor. And you usually will see like Midland Funding, LVNB, portfolio recovery, things like that. And before I actually go any further, again, I apologize. Transfer charge-off accounts, we just talked about those. Non-transferred just means that they're charged off accounts that are just the normal accounts that you would see, and you can dispute those the same way you would dispute high balance or low balance. They just haven't been transferred yet. And we know about going to annualcreditreport.com. All right. The reason why I brought up 1099-C form is because I figured a lot of people would have questions about this form because I've seen other people talk about it, but I don't think it's actually understood. So a 1099-C form, if you have taxable debt of $600 or more that's been canceled by a lender, the lender is required to file a form 1099-C with the IRS. The lender is also required to send you a copy of the 1099-C cancellation of debt form so you can use it when you file your annual taxes. If the debt on your 1099-C cancellation of debt form does not fall into one of the IRS's excluded categories, you might owe debt forgiveness tax. All right. To put it simply, a 1099-C form is a cancellation of debt as long as the debt is more than $600. Usually you get this when a creditor actually discharges the debt. And probably some people are wondering like, okay, well, if I have a charge off, shouldn't I get a 1099-C form in the mail? Let's address that. So, 1099-C requirements and mechanics. Generally, a creditor must file a Form 1099-C if one, the debt is in the amount of $600 or more, so it has to be that or more, and it has been discharged. I think that's a big part that most people don't get, which I had to understand. A creditor can put on their books that your charge off is not going to be collected on, or they believe that it's no longer an asset to them, and they'll mark it as a charge off in their books. But that doesn't mean that they received a corresponding tax credit for it. They can put your account in a charge off status and never write it off, which means they don't have to give you a 1099-C. So, 2, the creditor of an applicable entity, and 3, an identifiable event has occurred. So a Form 1099-C must be filed in the year following the calendar year in which the identifiable event had occurred. So January 31st to the debtor. That's the reason why I made this video after January 31st. On February 1st, which is today's date, you should have, if not received one, you should be receiving one soon. If the 1099-C form was actually given out, that means if the debt was actually discharged. All right. So January 31st to the debtor, which would be you or me. February 28th to the IRS if paper filed, and by March 31st to the IRS if e-filed. Finally, the only canceled or discharged debt that must be reported on a Form 1099-C is the principal amount of the debt owed. However, a creditor may report the interest and penalties forgiven if it so chooses. So just to summarize that, they can actually charge the interest separately to you and say that you still owe the interest, but the principal amount they can then put on the 1099-C. It's at the creditor's discretion. So what if the creditor didn't send me a 1099-C? A question I ask myself a lot too. The creditor may take time to write off the debt officially. You may not receive the form for a few years. So again, and this is why I didn't hyper focus on 1099-Cs, because the creditor may not have discharged the debt. They may have marked it as a charge off, but if they don't discharge it, write it off, right? The debt hasn't officially been written off per the IRS. So you may not get a 1099-C for years. And you can also ask a creditor to receive a 1099-C. But even if you ask them to receive it, they may say something like, we're not obligated to give you one, or we haven't discharged this debt yet, which means they're still holding on to it. They haven't written it off yet. They haven't sold it. They're just holding on to it. But later down the line, a few years later, if they so choose to get a credit for it, a tax credit, you may get a 1099-C years later. My recommendation, since we're right on we're at the beginning of February 1st, you should start calling to see if you'll actually get one if you haven't received it yet. So after the creditor writes off a debt, what is the deadline to file a 1099-C on my taxes? If a creditor writes off a debt and cancels or forgives the debt, they are required to send the debtor and the IRS a Form 1099-C cancellation of debt by January 31st of the year following the tax year, of the year following that tax year, in which the debt was canceled or forgiven. For example, if a debt were canceled or forgiven in 2022, the creditor would need to send the debtor and the IRS a Form 1099-C by January 31st, 2023. If the creditor fails to send Form 1099-C or sends an incorrect form, the debtor should contact the creditor to request a corrected form. If the creditor does not respond, the debtor should contact the IRS to report the issue. It's important for debtors to report all taxable canceled debt on their tax return in the year that the debt was canceled or forgiven. Failing to report canceled debt as taxable income can result in penalties and interest from the IRS. So again, the reason why I'm addressing this now is because a 1099-C is not something that you're entitled to or that you can ask for and expect to receive. The only way that you get this form is if the creditor discharged the debt. And the only way that you'll know that is if you receive one or if you contact them and you ask for one. And the reason why you want to contact and ask for one is because once the debt is canceled or forgiven, we can get it deleted from your credit report. And I would say 1099-Cs are probably one of the easier ways to get it done. You just can't always guarantee that you're going to get it, which is why it's not the thing that I rely on, but I'm going to talk about it just so that, you're aware, or in case it's asked, we might as well just address it. But it's not the thing that I would rely on. When I removed all of my charge-offs, I never got one charge-off removed with a 1099-C. I didn't. Even though you definitely can, I didn't do it. But again, this is why it's like I waited to make this. There's so many different variables when it comes to charge-offs. They're all very different, and it depends on your situation. All right, so what is the statute of limitations on a 1099-C? Generally, there is no statute of limitation on a 1099-C. Simply meaning you can get a 1099-C this year, you could get it next year, you could get it in 3 years. They have up to 7 years to provide you with that. After 7 years, then they can't report the account generally, for your state. It depends on your state. But after 7 years, for the most part, it's a wrap. The account's deleted. But anytime within that time frame, the creditor decides to discharge that debt, they'll send you one. So the creditor does not have to send you the form promptly so that you can include it on your tax return. I'm sorry, but the creditor does have to send you the form promptly so that you can include it on your tax returns. There is no rule about how long a creditor has to officially charge off your debt. So it could be years before you receive the form in the mail. There are exclusions to being sent a 1099-C, like bankruptcy, or if you settle the debt. So if you settle the debt and you pay it, they don't need to send you a 1099-C. If you file for bankruptcy, they don't need to send it. That debt has been discharged because you filed for bankruptcy. There's no need to cancel the debt if you file for bankruptcy or if you settle that debt. This is only for, and they actually can send it still if you settled it. But this is generally for when they have discharged or written off that debt. Okay, I wanted to get the 1099-C stuff out the way because I figured I'd have questions about it. But now we're going to get to the real reason why you came here. We're going to get to how to dispute a charge-off. So I broke it down into 4 parts. Step 1, we're going to send an investigation complaint. You never send a factual dispute to initially dispute a charge-off. Step 2, we're going to send a reinvestigation follow-up complaint. Step 3, we're going to use factual disputes. I like to use date of last activity. Usually that's one of the first attributes I would attempt. And in step 4, payment history or any other factual dispute that we can find. So really quick, let me just exit the slideshow for 1 second because I want to pull up here. You guys know I always use the Cornell Law School 15 U.S. Code 1681 procedure. I know you want this done fast. I know you guys want this done as soon as possible. But there are steps that we need to take because a charge-off account is much harder to get off than a collection. Much harder, but it can be done if you follow a procedure. So the reason why we first have to send a procedural investigation, Our right as a consumer, we can ask the credit bureaus to dispute anything for any reason, just because we feel like it. Just because I want a dispute doesn't have to have a reason. I just want one. I'm entitled to one. That's my right. Okay? We need to have them do that. And we need to ask them, hey, credit bureaus, I'm looking at my account. This account doesn't look right. We don't ever talk about what's wrong. We just say it doesn't look right. Don't give them anything. Just say it doesn't look right. Unless, again, it's a paid account. If it's paid, then you can go right to the factual dispute. But if it's not paid or settled, we're going to look at that and we're going to say, hey, something's wrong. I'm going to give you a template about what to say, but what's wrong? I need to figure it out. Can you investigate? Reinvestigation comes next. We ask them to reinvestigate. I looked at it again. I disagree. This doesn't look right. Can you look at it again? We need them to verify twice and say 2 times, we looked at it and it looks good. And this is why we need it. Right here. We're going to scroll down. Right here to section 5. Treatment of inaccurate or unverifiable information. So if after any reinvestigation, if after any reinvestigation, under paragraph 1 of any information disputed by a consumer, an item of the information is found to be inaccurate or incomplete or cannot be verified, the consumer reporting agency shall promptly delete that item of information from the file of the consumer or modify that item of information as appropriate based on the results of the reinvestigation and promptly notify the furnisher that the information has been modified or deleted from the file of the consumer. So see, right here's the reason why we need to do those first 2 steps initially. We need to get them to confirm that they verified that that account was accurate. They did it twice. I asked you for a procedural investigation. I asked you to reinvestigate. Now I can go right into my factual, my disputes, knowing that you told me everything was accurate. So I like to know why sometimes things have to be the way that they have to be so that it makes sense. All right. So that's why we have to do step 1 and step 2 first. And then we go into step 3 and step 4. Now, round 1 dispute. This is step 1. Remember, I said we're going to send an investigation complaint. And when we send it through the CFPB. At the very end, I'm going to go through that process. If not, I could probably put a link to a video that I have where I showed you guys how to file a CFPB complaint. If not, I'm going to do it in this video again for anybody new. So round 1 dispute, step 1, we send an investigation complaint through the CFPB. You can also send letters if you want. You just add your first name, last name, your social, your address, and then you can look up the address for the corresponding credit bureau. I personally have found that it was no different between me sending letters and me just going through the CFPB. And personally, for me, I noticed there was no different. If you want to send a letter, by all means, you can do both. I don't think that either one would be a problem. So, again, step 1, we never send factual disputes until after you've asked for a procedural reinvestigation, unless it's already paid or settled. At that point, you already admitted that the account was yours and it's verified. So this is an example of what you can say. Recently, I looked at a copy of my credit report and noticed several inaccuracies on my account. This account is hurting my ability to obtain credit. It is my understanding that you will investigate these items for me to ensure accuracy. Here is the item I am asking you to verify as accurate. You then put the account name and the number that's shown on the report. This is the first complaint round. Again, we don't put a reason. This is very general. It's very broad. We're just asking them, hey, I looked at it. I noticed several inaccuracies. What do you think? That's it. We're basically getting in position. You got to understand that the credit bureaus, they have laws to protect them with handling their disputes. We have laws for us. We just need to basically get them in position where we can get these accounts deleted quickly. So you guys can copy this. If you want to, you can copy it verbatim. I would try to, we have to change it up a little bit to put your account name and your information, but just something general. It shouldn't be very long. You don't have to put laws in there. Just make it very, very general. All right. This is going to be round 2, step 2. We're going to ask them for a reinvestigation. So we're going to say something along the lines of, I'm in disagreement with the account listed below, which still appears on my credit report. Even after your investigation, I would like this item to be immediately reinvestigated. The inaccuracies are highly injurious to my credit score. Sorry about that, guys. All right. And then you're going to put the name of the account, the account number shown on the report. And then here I have a little tidbit just so that they're aware that we do know our laws. In accordance with the Fair Credit Reporting Act, Law 91506, and then the title, the section, the subsection, please provide the names and business addresses of each individual with whom you verified above so that I may follow up. Please send an updated copy of my credit report after your reinvestigation. Now, some of you may actually notice that the accounts are starting to get deleted after step 2. Usually step 1, nothing happens. Step 2, we're not giving them any specific details yet. We're not talking about any factual disputes. Now we're just asking, hey, can you tell me who you verified this with? Can you give me the names of the individuals? Can you please make sure that you update a copy of my credit report after your reinvestigation? So now you may notice some things come off. You may not. If you do, good. If you don't, then we proceed to the next step. But this is really just getting them in position to basically say, oh, we verified it. This account was good. Okay, you verified it. Awesome. Now, before I show you round 3, I got to go over the most common charge-off inaccuracies. So one of the easiest ways to get stuff removed from your credit report is repeatedly reporting charge-off every month. And I'm going to give you guys an example. Every time your account updates, like if you look at it and it shows like where it shows the payment history, it shows charge-off, 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 charge-off. It's updating the statute of limitations. It's extending it. Every update to that account makes the account look newer than it is, and re-aging the account is illegal. They can't do that. I'm going to give you examples, but I just want to go over, these are the most common reasons you're going to get a charge-off deleted, and pretty much you're going to plug one of these reasons in after you look at your report, and you're going to put that in a round 3. So, not indicating when or if the account has been sold, misrepresentation of the account status. You're going to look at your account and you may have a card with Capital One. That account may have been sold to Portfolio Recovery. But when you look at your credit report, it's going to show Capital One with a balance, and then it's going to show a collection with that same balance. But it's not going to show on the Capital One credit card charge-off that account had actually been sold. It needs to have that status on there. And this is why I'm telling you, you need to go to annualcreditreport.com and look at your report. You probably won't see this on Credit Karma. You probably won't see this on Identity IQ. You might see it on Experian, but I can tell you for TransUnion, you never get that information, even with Experian. So you want to make sure that you go to annualcreditreport.com and you want to get your report there, because you'll be able to see all these inaccuracies. Not reflecting a zero balance after transferred, sold, or paid. That's double jeopardy. So if they transferred this Capital One account to recovery portfolio collection, that Capital One account should have a zero balance. If it doesn't, that's inaccurate. I can't have a balance on both of these accounts. Two different the creditor and the collection agency can't both be trying to collect on this one account. You can't do that. That's an inaccuracy that can get a charge off deleted. It's actually one of the easiest ones. Reporting inconsistent balances across credit bureaus. I'm going to actually pull up Identity IQ because if you are familiar with the website, Identity IQ shows you all the balances and all the information from each credit bureau. It's not going to be as in-depth as annualcreditreport.com, but it'll be good as an example. All right. Date of first delinquency. That can illegally be changed. I've seen that a lot. It should reflect the month and year it was first delinquent, and then changes after 180 days charged off status. We can't have any changes. Once a charge off goes past 180 days, the account is dead. It's done. You can't have on-time payments. You can't add anything else to it. There should be nothing left on there. You can't do that. That's illegal. That's an inaccuracy. So I'm going to start showing you examples of what to look for so that when you go to annualcreditreport.com, I could promise, I won't make it guarantees, but I feel like I could almost guarantee that one of these you're going to find most definitely on a charge off. All right, so here's a factual dispute about repeated charge off. Remember what I said? Remember what I said about the account showing charge off multiple times? Look at this. This account, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to zoom in and it's going to the next page. I'm sorry about that, guys. This account says charge off. So this account was initially charged off, looks like February of 2022, 180 days past due. But yet, it's being reported every single month. They're updating this account. So look, let's go back. Repeatedly reporting charge off every month. Wow, there we go. Is that not what's going on here? That's inaccurate. They can't do that. That is an inaccuracy. And this is a screenshot pulled from annualcreditreport.com, which is why I'm telling you guys you want to pull from there. I'm going to pull this same account up on Identity IQ, and I'm going to make a comparison because I want to show you exactly what I'm talking about. So I was able to pull this same account up on Identity IQ. So check this out, guys. Check this out. Remember, we just talked about that every month after February 2022, that this account was charge off. Look at this. On Identity IQ, it says okay. That's not what we just saw, right? So if we go here, this is the exact same account with Merrick Bank. Look at this. After February, charge off. Right? On Identity IQ, it just says that the account is okay. See, we wouldn't get that information if we didn't get the annualcreditreport.com that report. Identity IQ didn't show that, which is why I keep stressing, make sure you get the report from annualcreditreport.com. All right, let's look for other inaccuracies. Let's look. Look at this one. The balance on TransUnion for this Merrick Bank account is 0. Look at that. The balance on Equifax is $914. Wasn't that one of our? Yeah, look, there we go. Reporting inconsistent balances across bureaus. Right there. There it is. It's reporting inconsistent balances across bureaus. That would be another one of our reasons that we can say that the account is inaccurate. Okay. What else can we come up with? Oh, date of last activity. So check this out. This account shows that September 1st, 2021 was the date of last activity. Well, let's double check that. The date of last activity would basically be the date that the account first went into a delinquent status. So it would be the first day that we got a 30-day past due notice. So September 21st. We already see here it says June 22nd, 2021. That's an inaccuracy right there. The day of last activity cannot be June 22nd, 2021. Or, I mean, it can't be both that and September. So let's go back and let's take a look. Look at this, guys. Two inaccuracies. It shows right here that August 2021 was paid on time. There isn't even a 30-day past due. It's paid on time. How did it go right into 60 days in September? It was paid on time. That's an inaccuracy. And the first day of delinquency would technically not be well, it wouldn't be September. It would have to be August. So even when we're looking at this should be August. This should be August. These are both wrong. So date of last activity is wrong. The balance is completely wrong. The repeated charge-offs are completely wrong. We already have 3 different reasons that we can dispute. Let's see if we have any more. Date of first delinquency, we have that. Reporting inconsistent balances, we have that. And then repeated. So we already have 3 different things that we can dispute, right? All right. So you would pull up your credit report from annualcreditreport.com. You would look at your charged off account and you would look at one of these common reasons. Of course, after you ask them to investigate, reinvestigate, they tell you it's all good. And then we hit them with this one right here. So I'm going to give you an example of what to say for repeated charge off, because you'll probably see this one a lot. All right, so this is the round 3, disputing factual information. So this account was charged off on the following date. So remember, the charge off date that we had, it was September 2021, right? Since then, the account has repeatedly been updated as charged off every month. This is an update in the payment history. A charged off account should not include an active payment history. This inaccurate information falsely manipulates the statute of limitations. You failed to investigate this account properly, and your neglect has violated my rights. I am demanding a deletion of the following account. And then you would put your account name, your account number. You would want to send a copy of your driver's license. I always send a copy of my social security card and proof of address. I recommend that you do the same. So, factual disputes, if you saw this example, the dispute should be no longer than 3 sentences. Just identify what the account is, explain what's wrong, and the desired outcome. So, I mean, that's simply what we're gonna do. We're just gonna identify the account, explain what's wrong and what we want. Because you have to understand, we already asked them twice to do their job. Now we use the law. Look, I asked you twice to do something. I followed the process of reinvestigation. You didn't do it. And now that you didn't do it, I'm going to tell you what's wrong. Now, keep in mind, the credit bureaus have the option of either doing 1, updating the account, or 2, they can delete it. So they do have the option to update. So here's the thing. What happens when we get to round 4 and they decide that they just want to update the account? We pick a different reason. So for this example, I just showed if there was a double jeopardy, right? So if there were 2 accounts that, because this is probably the next most common reason, I don't have an example of it to show you, but let's say that this account with Merrick Bank had a charge off with a 0 balance for TransUnion and for Equifax, but now I have a collection account of the same amount. I would send this. So the following accounts are claiming to both own the same debt with a balance. As you know, this is not possible and also a violation of my rights. Because of this, both accounts need to be removed from my credit report immediately due to not properly validating the information in which a company has passed to you. Please delete immediately. When the requested above deletions are made, please mail me an updated copy of my credit report. You list account 1 and you list account 2. So in my experience, going back to our most common charge-off inaccuracies, it's usually going to be one of these. And again, the credit bureaus don't necessarily have to delete it. They can update it. But what happens is when you start with one inaccuracy and then you mention another inaccuracy and then you mention another inaccuracy, you may get to like round 5. And by then they're going to delete it because you have to keep reminding them that they're neglecting to do their job, and you can point it out. You have to stay on top of it. Before I show you how to submit this with the CFPB, a couple other things I want to actually go over. First thing, you don't have to wait 30 days in order to respond back to the credit bureaus. Here's the problem. If you wait 30 days and they already responded to you, it's going to start this process over again, and you'll have to start with round 1. So I'm going to tell you what I do. And this is something where, again, like it isn't like a process where it's not a process where it's like clean cut. It's different for everybody, right? But what I do is I get alerts from, I have the Experian app on my phone. I have Credit Karma on my phone for TransUnion to get updates with that. And then I also have an Equifax account. Credit Karma is free. The Equifax account is free. TransUnion is free unless you want all 3 credit bureaus. If you sign up for TransUnion, whenever you have a dispute, they'll tell you when they responded and when that dispute gets closed. When you are disputing with the CFPB, they won't tell you. The CFPB complaint can be open for 60 days. So they'll take their time to close it so that you have to start from round 1. So I'm going to give you an example. If I were disputing this account with Merrick Bank right now, in about probably a week or 10 days, TransUnion Equifax will come back and say, oh, it's verified. You know how I know? I get an alert on Credit Karma for TransUnion, or I can go to Equifax.com and I can see there that they're going to close the dispute. Just sign up for an account. If you want, I have another link where you can sign up to get your free FICO 8 scores. If you follow that video, it shows you the exact same steps of how to create the account so that you have it and they're free. I get an alert within 5, 6, 7 days showing the complaint is closed. It won't show it on the CFPB, but it'll show it there. So if in 10 days, let's say that was round 1, and they say, it's verified, Steven, we made sure, it's all good. I go right to the CFPB, and what do? I go right to round 2, and I say, I'm in disagreement. They say, okay, you see a new dispute start. You can go into the Equifax website. You'll see the dispute. You can go into Experian. Experian will literally send you an alert when that new dispute is active again, and then when it's closed. And then you could do the same thing with Credit Karma for TransUnion. And they'll actually show you an update and update you when a dispute has been closed. But you have to keep up with that. You have to, and I think TransUnion's the hardest one. They're the hardest one. They make it hard on purpose. Like they purposely make it very hard to tell if a dispute has been closed or not. So you got to stay on top of it. So you can actually get through 4 rounds within a month and a half, realistically. Round 1, investigation. Round 2, reinvestigation. Round 3, here's my actual facts that I'm disputing with. Let's say that they come back and they say, we updated the account. It's either going to be updated or deleted at that point. They can't verify it, but I mean, if it's actual information where it's not accurate, they'll probably either update it or delete it. Then you come back with your second one. your second reason, this is like round 4, right? You can do this like every time they respond. You have to pay attention to it, but you can do it every time they respond. It's easy. You just keep doing it until you get like probably like around some of this stuff will come off on round 2, some will come off around 3, 4, 5, and then you just keep going with all of your reasons. And that's why you can't just say that the account is fraud. Why? Because charge-offs are always with the original creditor. They have all the information. They can verify it. They have it. So you can't just say that simply. That's not going to work. It may work sometimes, but doesn't always work. You can't just say that. You can't say that this account isn't mine. They can verify it, which is why for charge-offs, we have to go through this lengthy process. Now, in my opinion, doing it through the CFPB, making sure that you respond and not letting them wait you out to have to restart the process, respond within 15 days, you're going to see results a lot faster. And this is the method that I actually acquired from different people, from my own findings, that I've had the most success with. Now, it didn't all happen at one time because a lot of the time I spent learning this stuff. But for you, I'm giving you all the information up front. So now, again, this is one example, but your account could look totally different. And I didn't hit every single reason why, but you're going to have to interpret that reason for yourself. If you have an account and you notice, oh, that's double jeopardy, oh, that's repeated, oh, that's something. If you just show them 2 different credit bureaus, Equifax and TransUnion, and there's inconsistencies between those 2, you can have them look at two reports and you can say, hey, if this report is coming from the same data furnisher as this report and they're not exactly the same, they're inaccurate. So that's why I'm like, you have to interpret it. You have to go actively look out and find out what's wrong. There is no general one letter, one thing that can just solve this issue. Okay. Again, that's the reason why I took so long to make this video, because it's not a one size fits all like the rest of them. It's literally tailor made to you and your profile. The next thing I'm going to show you before we end this video, I want to show you how to process this, or how I do it through the CFPB website. All right, so you're going to go to CFPB, and you can Google this, or consumerfinance.gov. And as you guys know, if you don't have an account, you have to create one. But we're going to start by going to submit a complaint. Click on that, scroll down, and start new complaint. All right, so if you don't have an account, sign up for an account, verify your email. Okay, once you're logged in, you're going to go to start new complaint. We're going to click on that. We're going to go to improper use of credit report, and reporting company used your credit report improperly. And have you already tried to fix this problem with the company? Always yes. Did you request information from the company? Yes. Did the company provide this information? No. And we're going to go next. So what happened? Again, guys, from the letter or from the example that I gave you, we could enter round 1 information. We could enter round 2 information. Let's go and let me do one of the round 3s. Let's do the charge off account. All right, cool. So you're going to go here and you're going to put in your information. This account was charged off on the following date. Since then, I have been repeatedly, exactly what we went over. So you're going to put what happened, what account it involves, the inaccuracy, and what you want done. And then you're just going to put the same information here, but here you can add, I am demanding a deletion of the following account name, account number, same information here. You could just copy this part because that's the outcome that you're looking for. And then you attach your documents. Remember I said you would attach your ID, your driver's license. I would attach your social security card. I would attach a proof of residence, so like a utility bill or something of that nature, and then a screenshot of the inaccuracy. And if you requested a report from annualcreditreport.com and they mailed you one, because again, sometimes TransUnion does this where they won't allow you to get the report, you can have it mailed to you. And then you can take a picture of it and then add that here showing what the problem is. And this is going to be like, this is for a factual dispute, what I'm showing you now. But prior to this, you'll do a round one, you'll do a round two. And then you're going to enter the company's name. We're looking at Experian. And you could do Experian Credit Reporting Agency. You're going to enter all this information just like we have done before. You're going to enter your date of birth, your name as it appears on your credit report, however that appears, whether it's first name, middle name, last name, or first name and last name. Did you want to complain about another company? If you want, you can actually just go ahead and just throw that on here. You can add TransUnion. Now remember, you only want to complain about the company that actually has the account. So if the account doesn't report to Experian, but it reports to TransUnion and Equifax, just do TransUnion and Equifax. If the company just reports one credit bureau, just do one. Yes, I already tried to fix the problem. Did you request information? Yes. Did the company provide the information? No. And then you're going to enter again. This is all the same information. If you've watched any prior videos, we've done this step before, but anybody new, we're going to do this for you guys because you may not know. And then do you want to complain about another company? Yes. I want to complain about, I did Experian, TransUnion. I want to complain about Equifax. Let's see. Equifax Information Services. All right. Have you already tried to fix the problem? Yes, we have. Did you request information from the company? Yes, I did. Did the company provide the information? No, they did not. And then same thing, so on and so forth. So when you're done, you should have all the credit bureaus here that you are trying to dispute that charge off with. Then we're going to hit next and go to the next page. You're always going to click myself. There are actually, I never mentioned this, but there are actually laws out there that when you have someone else file a complaint or dispute on your behalf, the credit bureaus have the right to throw that out as frivolous. So that's one of the stall tactics that they use. So whenever you're doing this, you always fill it out as myself. And just so you know, when you're disputing these things, the reason why we always do one reason at a time and we don't list them all at one time is because you can only dispute an account for the same reason one time. So if you go, charge off repeatedly, and let's say now the credit bureaus update the information so it's accurate. And then you go, oh, yeah, but my date of last status is not right. And they update that information. You can't go back and then try to use the same one again, even if they didn't update it. It's going to be seen as frivolous. So you'll want to use one at a time until eventually they delete it. And from my experience, eventually they do. You have to be patient. You have to be diligent. And again, when you file the CFPB report, the CFPB report will not update as fast as the credit bureaus respond. They will let they'll let the complaint stay open even though it's already been completed. So you're gonna have to make sure to check with Experian, get the notifications. They'll tell you once they're done disputing. With Equifax, they'll tell you when they're done. They always do. And then with TransUnion, which is I think the hardest one, TransUnion won't always say when they're done. You have to just kind of check up on them. Credit Karma can sometimes be good for that because what'll happen is the account will update and it'll say consumer dispute resolved. Sometimes they don't even update that, which is a violation. But it's like very low on the totem pole. It doesn't always work if you dispute that reason, like they didn't update the comment and said that this account is no longer in dispute. It happens though. But you'll want to make sure to watch that, because again, if they respond within 7 days, in 7 days, you could send the next round the same day. And so this doesn't have to take you 4 or 5 months. This could take you 4 or 5 weeks, less than that. It just depends on how fast they respond. So just bear that in mind. So who are you submitting this complaint for? You always choose myself. Now, once I click this, it's going to show some personal information. So like always, I'm going to click it and then I'm going to cut to the next step. All right. So once you get all the way down to the bottom, you're just going to hit the review option in step 5. So we're going to click on review. And then once you hit the review option, you're gonna review the complaint, make sure all the information is good, you haven't missed anything. And I'm just gonna scroll to the bottom here. All right, so I cut to the bottom. You're gonna hit the I authorized and the information given is true, and then you're gonna submit the complaint. Now I won't submit this complaint because this is just an example. But yeah, those are the steps that I took to remove all charge-offs from my account. For this video, guys, if it seemed convoluted, if it wasn't really comprehensive, I apologize. I'm so sorry. I tried to organize it the best I can, because when it comes to charge-offs, it's so much information that there is in order to get rid of it. It's not really like one thing that you could do like all the other videos that I've made. So for this one, again, if it's very convoluted, I'm sorry. I recommend just going back and rewinding it if you want to take notes, and then maybe Google some of the stuff that I was saying, just to maybe get a clear depiction of what I was trying to get at. Watch some other videos in conjunction with this video, and then, come to your own conclusion to see what it is that you could do. These are all just strategies, and these are methods, and we're just sharing information. If you have more information, put it in the comments. If you've done some of this and it has worked for you, please, I would love to put that in the comments. If you want any other videos in regards to credit, please put it in the comments too and let me know. I'm getting to the end of credit repair. I may have like maybe 4 other videos in me left in regards to repairing credit, and then I'm going to be moving on to something else. For this channel, credit repair, I feel like, is the foundation of a lot of the things that I'm going to discuss, but it isn't the only thing that I'm going to have on this channel. I'm going to probably show you how to make money online. I do a lot of stuff to make money online. Currently, I'm self-employed. I make money on my own, so I could show you how to do that. I want to talk about investing, stocks, things of that nature. So, we're going to be moving on here, but I do know that before you do anything, one of the